Welcome back to Unshrinkable Midlife Moves, the show where we spotlight powerful midlife women making their moves, taking up space, and living their boldest and biggest lives. We explore what it takes to rebuild strength, identity, and confidence. Today's episode is one you're going to love. You'll hear how one woman spent years trying to lose weight in her 30s and 40s through every diet, program, and restart you can imagine. You'll hear about the frustration of stepping on the scale and thinking, why isn't this working? What's wrong with me? Why can't I stay consistent anymore? But you'll also hear the moment everything changed. Not when the scale moved, but when she stopped letting it decide who she was. She found a community that didn't judge her but welcomed her. She discovered movement that empowered her. And she showed up for herself long enough to get a place she once thought was impossible, at the start line. If you've ever felt stuck, discouraged, overwhelmed, or like you're starting again for the 100th time, this episode will remind you that your power has nothing to do with a number and everything to do with what you choose next.
I want to start by saying a massive thank you for talking to me today. I really wanted to talk to you as I think you embody what an unshrinkable woman is in your fitness journey over the years. But before we get going, if you tell us a bit about yourself.
I'm Ayisha Ajikobi. I'm married with 3 boys, 2 of which are adults, going towards 60 quite soon.
What's the official number?
Official number is 56, nearly 57, but unofficial 21. That's where we'll go. Married for many years as well. I'm a barrister, although I do a bit of work now, not necessarily in the bar field as I used to, but within the legal sphere now. In terms of my journey, over the years, I have struggled with my weight. And most of the time, I didn't even realize that I was heavy, but I really, really was. So most women do not like to disclose what their weight is. However, on this one occasion, I will tell you what I used to weigh. I was 106 kilos. And in terms of UK dress sizing, probably at 18, 20, although in my mind, I thought I was a 14. I'm now down to 12, 14. So a few dress sizes down, and I'm now down to about 84. Still overweight, but it's mainly muscle, or that's what I'd like to say.
And you're looking amazing with it.
So I started my journey, and I say it's a journey because it was not necessarily fitness, probably just after lockdown. So maybe 2020, something like that, 2021. And I started by losing about 2.5 stones back then. And I did it on this system called Body Slims. And on that, you just had to basically eat within a calorie deficit. And then you had to walk for about an hour at speed or at your pace and walk about 10,000 steps a day. It seemed to work. However, when you stop doing that, and I'm sure that this will resonate with a lot of women, when you stop doing the calorie deficit and cutting this out and cutting that out and the walking and everything, because life gets in the way, which it generally does, you see that the weight starts creeping back on, and the weight did. So I needed to think slightly outside the box because I didn't want to ever get to the 106 that was my maximum weight back then. And that's when I came across a gym close to where I live in Orpington. I started there, and I didn't really think initially that it was a genuine kind of gym. It is based on a massive farm. So it doesn't look like the Virgin Actives or any of the others, Pure Gym or anything like that. It's not really that, but it is a High Rocks affiliated gym. So I started it probably 16 months ago. So not that long ago. And I just fell in love at that point. I was like, oh my God, it's really, really good. I found that thing, and I've been consistent with it pretty much, apart from when I go on holiday. And I started going there 4 times a week initially.
So how did you go from starting up to 4 times a week?
It seems a lot, but for me, I knew that I needed to do something, and I hated the yo-yo dieting that I'd been doing for decades. And yes, you might have lost, I don't know, 2 pounds this week. I mean, I've done all of them. Absolutely, I've done the Weight Watchers. You can name it, I've probably done it. And I just got fed up of that feeling that, one, I'm not actually fueling my body, and two, I'm not actually doing anything. It's like a plateau all the time. So I didn't like that. And I didn't like the fact that the weight was creeping back on. And I also realized that I've gone through the menopause. As an older woman, you need to ensure for your mobility going forward, and hopefully I will live to a ripe old age, that I can walk, I can go to the shops, do my shopping. It's just so that if I'm blessed with grandchildren at some point, I can play with the grandchildren so I can keep up with everybody. And also it helps with your mental health as well, I think. And another reason why it was also crucial for me is that my mum was diagnosed with not only Alzheimer's, but also vascular dementia. So she's got the double whammy. And I do know that it runs through families. So it might be that I do get it at some point, but I wanted to do something that would stave it off as long as possible. So when I found the High Rocks training, I was like, oh, this is what I missed. And not only I used to do strength and conditioning training, which for postmenopausal, perimenopausal, menopausal women, it's very, very good for you as your estrogen levels start decreasing. You need something to keep you going so that, you know, when you become an octogenarian, you can still lift. In my case, it'd probably be suitcases because I do like to go on holiday. But you can, in essence, grow old gracefully, if that's the phrase that I think that is more pertinent here. And so I just fell in love with it. So I went from basically nothing. And as I say, now I'm a member there. I'm a member at Virgin Active. I also do a running club with Anika and some other ladies on a Wednesday evening. And then I also get trained as well from a really nice trainer who's absolutely lovely. And although people think that, oh, yeah, she's nothing. No, I'm not. I'm just an ordinary mum just thinking about my future. And I just hope ordinary mums don't think, oh, my God, that's a lot. Remember, you've got 24 hours in a day, and you might only be devoting anything from 20 minutes to 1 hour. And it's time for you. And you do need to take time for you because you will have the plates all spinning. And I've been there. Thank God I've got 2 adult children now. But your plates are spinning, but you do need to have some time for yourself at some stage. And that's why I think I've continued it all these years, months.
So it's over a year, so almost 2 years. If you've gone from 0 to 100, because High Rocks training is really involved.
It is.
That is just amazing, and you're loving it. So what about it has really got your attention, got your heart?
I think for me, it's the strength just to see how far I've come from virtually nothing to now, although it's not High Rocks, but now I can do a hip thrust and it's 130 kg on a hip thrust, which for me, when I started, I think I was on 70, maybe, if that.
You're still good, really good.
It might be, but it was like, oh, is that it? And then you'll see some other women, but it's the cardio. It's just, you feel good afterwards. I mean, you're absolutely exhausted during it, but you feel good afterwards. And to me, it's a challenge. And where it became really prominent, I suppose, was that I agreed crazily to go into a High Rocks competition. Thankfully, I went in as a relay with Anika and 2 other ladies, and it was a baptism of fire in one respect, but I really, really enjoyed doing it. So much so that I'm doing 2 more races with my son. One High Rocks and one that's High Rocks based. I don't know how we'll do. We're just aiming to finish.
Exactly. And you will finish because you know you will. And you've done the training.
And I've done the training.
And that's what I think is amazing. You've gone to I think you need to tell people when you agree to the relay.
I was hoping that we wouldn't get the ticket. I was going, please God, please God, please God. We got the ticket. What? I was like, that's not what I prayed for.
And then when you finished, you were like, I don't know if I'll do that again. And then a few days later, you're like, well, maybe I'll do doubles. And you are.
I didn't think to do a doubles, but my son came to watch. In fact, 2 of my children came to watch me, and they were inspired by me. I was like, why? I couldn't understand it. So much so that my eldest said, do you know what? I think me and you could do it.
And this is what I think is amazing. So did they tell you what the inspiration was? Was it just seeing you do?
It was just
You
seeing me
did
do it.
for what you did, because which were your legs?
My two legs on the relay were, obviously you have to do the run. So it's a 2K run, which is split up into 1K distance. And then I also did the sled pull, I believe.
Oh.
Yep. And I also did the farmer's carry. So I did one whole lap. But there were no stewards or volunteers around to tell you, go round again. And I didn't see anything. And because everybody's screaming and everything, I didn't hear anything at all. So that's why I say it was a bit of a baptism of fire. But I know for the next one. But the next one, I've gone from effectively doing what they call open weight, which is basically the weights that all women who are non-pros would do. And now I'm doing mixed doubles, but effectively I'm doing the pro women's weights. So I've gone up, for example, the kettlebells that I did in London in May weighed 16 kg each. The kettlebells that I will be doing again in London will weigh 24 kg each. So it's pro weight. So that's the next challenge for me, whether I can do it for a sustained distance. But I'll have my son there, so he'll do most of it.
And can I just say, put that into context for people who don't know about High Rocks. High Rocks is a fitness racing event, but the pro weights are actually the men's weights. So you will be doing the men's weights.
Yes, I'll be doing the men's weights.
But I know that's actually not going to be too much of a challenge because you were so strong. You've been training. So you will do it. And it's a case of just doing it, right? And showing to prove yourself.
To me, I'm not there to win a competition. I can't. High Rocks isn't necessarily a competition, say like the Olympics or any other sporting event. You're really competing against yourself effectively, unless you were in the pro class. And then it's more of a competition. But you're really competing against yourself, really to see what you and your body can do and what you can achieve. And given that I come to High Rocks quite late in life, I'm amazed that I can actually do it. So if I can do it, anybody can literally do it. And they do say on their blurb about High Rocks and their marketing that if you can carry 2 shopping bags of clothes or food or whatever you're bringing back from the shops, then you can do a farmer's carry. So it's something that's accessible and most people will be able to do it.
As long as you put the time in, it's doable, even from a very low level of fitness, which is what I think makes it so amazing. And people watch it and they think it's impossible, they couldn't do it. But with time, anything's possible.
Exactly.
We've got similar stories that you've done it, you put the time in, you surprise yourself what is possible.
My running isn't the greatest. I'm not a runner. During the competition, I think I ran 6:30, wasn't it, for my kilometre, which I had never, ever done before. Ever. I'm not sure I'll be able to achieve it again.
I'm sure you'll run fast.
But it was, I don't know, maybe it was just the atmosphere and everything that was going in that propelled me faster than I normally could have run. So I would say if anyone can get into it, just get into it. And honestly, you will love it.
It's a satisfaction more than anything, I think.
Yes.
That sense of achievement that A, you survived because if you will.
Yeah.
And B, you've done it when you look back at the stations and the runs, as you said.
And you've done all of that in one hit. So that's going to be a challenge for me. But as I say, I've got a half kind of High Rocks coming up called Survive the 8. And on paper, it looks all right. But I'll tell you afterwards. We'll see. And again, it's just getting round it. That's it. Just get round it and then go home and you can have the biggest meal you like because you usually burn a whole heap of calories, ladies.
Exactly. But I just wanted to also touch on, as you said, your boys were inspired by seeing you do your stations. Did they actually say what it was?
I think with me, they'd always had me, mum, as being quite overweight. So I think it was the achievement that A, I'd lost all of that weight, and then B, I'd got into this kind of training and then finally got into a race. And although they had heard of High Rocks, I don't think they really looked into it because when Zach, that's my eldest, who's going to run with me, said, I wasn't too sure what exactly you were going to be doing. But I looked at it and I thought, yeah, I can do it. And then I could do it with my mum. So I was like, oh, wow. Because you never really think that you inspire your children. It's generally the other way around. So for me, that was really nice. And it was nice to hear it. And then we got the tickets. And then I started thinking, why? I'm questioning my life choices now. But we'll see.
Knowing you for as long as I have, you are such a character, such a force to be reckoned with. You always show up as yourself. When you are present, you are present, and you have such wonderful energy that it's difficult to not feel good around you. Lift everybody up. And I think for me, seeing you on this journey with the movement, it's added another layer to you and what you bring and the energy. And I have to say in the group, you bring a lot of fun to the group, which we love on our Wednesdays, especially when we're doing the circuit that's a bit more demanding. But what would you say movement has given you in terms of how you're experiencing midlife, who you think you are at this point?
I'm moving much better. I feel healthier. I feel fitter. It's a weird thing. Probably about maybe 9 months ago. I know this is really basic, but I had to run for a train. Before, I'd be huffing and puffing and going, oh my God, I'm never going to get this train. And I hate taking trains anyway. Anyone knows me knows that. Anyway, and I had to literally bolt for this train. And I was shocking myself because I was actually passing people who were also running. And I was like, I'm beating you. So even that, I just felt, wow, and that was just a tiny moment. So I was like, oh, winning. And I got on the train and I wasn't like, get me oxygen. It wasn't like that at all. So for me, it's just those little areas that I can see great improvements. Back in the day, I used to get really bad backache. And I didn't know what it was. I used to think, I don't know what it is. But I think it was because I was carrying so much weight, it was affecting my back. I haven't had that in a good while.
Really?
I used to sit down on my bed, and it always used to happen on my left leg, but my thigh would just go numb all of a sudden, like pins and needles. And I was like, what's that? It's like it had gone dead. And again, it was because I was carrying so much weight. Again, it's gone. So it's just those things, which to me were like little things, have made such a great impact on my life. And that's why, in terms of hopefully going on towards my 60s, my 70s and beyond, with any luck, I feel that I'll be able to grow old gracefully or disgracefully. I don't know, probably disgracefully in my world, but I'll be able to grow old fitter without hopefully succumbing to any kind of major illness or trauma.
It's a kind of confidence, isn't it? And I think you touched on it when you talk about this whole gracefully and disgracefully. There's this thing of conditioning about midlife that we're supposed to not fade away, but just quieten down. And
yeah, that's not going to happen, babes. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Anyone who knows me knows that. So yeah, that's not going to happen. I just think you really need to be kind of fit to manage the next stage of life. When you're younger, you seem to be able to do things a lot quicker and, maybe have 2 hours sleep after raving all night, 2 hours sleep, go to work. You can't do that. Not really in your 50s and beyond, but you can probably get to close to that without thinking, oh my God, I need 4 days to recover because I went out 2 days ago or 4 days ago. So it's things like that. It's just making things better for you and for your next stage in life. I think all of this provides. And that's just add-ons, really. I'm not sure if other sports such as swimming, maybe it does, but I feel swimming is quite sedate. And if I was doing swimming all the time, I'm like, yeah, no, this is not for me. So I think it's my character as well that comes into it a bit. But as I say, love high rocks. Absolutely love it. Will I do another competition after this year? Don't know. Or I might do a different one. Maybe not high rocks, but similar to the hybrid kind of concept. But we'll see.
Yeah, I think I'm not going to listen to you because you said never several times.
Yeah, I did.
But I think you touched on something really interesting there, that high rock suits your personality. And I think that is quite important, that we need to find a type of movement that
that
How
suits you,
yeah.
because there will be somebody who really enjoys swimming, and swimming is a good cardiovascular exercise. So you also obviously need to look after your heart and everything as you're getting older. So that might suit them. Running might suit somebody else. I actually hate running. I don't like it. I don't. But you have to do it on high rocks. So it's like, it's the worst bit. It's a bit like going to the dentist, I suppose. Don't really like it, but you have to do it. So it's the same kind of thing, but all the strength and things like that. That's the thing that I think I'd like to develop more than the running for me. But that's because that suits me rather than anybody else. But I think for this, maybe the moral of this story is just find an exercise that you really enjoy, because you will more than likely keep at it. If it's something that you think, oh, this is a chore and I can't stand it, you'll bounce out. It's a bit like diets as well, and going back to nutrition. If you think, you remember the cabbage soup diet or whatever it was, I can't even remember. That would last for like 2 weeks if you could manage it for 2 weeks. And then you say, just give me sweets or just give me cakes or whatever. So you'd lose it. But now the way I eat, and I know I'm segueing slightly, but the way I eat is a lot better than it was before. And I still do have my sweets and whatnot, but I try to limit it to a bit, because you can't really be eating 20 Mars bars and then go and do, well, you probably could, but you wouldn't feel very nice afterwards, and then go and do a high rocks afterwards. So you do have to fuel your body well. And that doesn't mean cutting carbs out.
You're absolutely right, because as I started training and was finding my way into it, I've never really not eaten stuff. I've been aware, but
Yeah.
my appetite just opened up with the training in a way I've never experienced before. I'm always hungry, especially after you train.
Yeah.
And there was always, I have to say, a guilt around food before, but for me,
Yeah.
I don't feel guilty now because I know I'm fueling and I need it. So
Exactly.
you keep an eye on it, but you don't restrict it. Well, I
No.
don't restrict it in the same way that I did before.
Your carbohydrates, for instance, will fuel your body so that you can manage a high rocks. So, for example, my meal before a high rocks will often be a pasta or rice-based something, and feel lovely at the end of it, then, because I know tomorrow that is coming off. So, so it works. It really does work. Fuel, I think, and nutrition is as important as training. So I think women, not of a certain age, just all women, just need to be mindful of that, so that they're eating well in order to train well. Obviously, don't be eating, and then you're not doing anything, because that's basically what I did to get to the nice 106. So I realise that now. Oops.
We live and we learn, and this is it. It's about finding your
Exactly.
thing and seeing what works for you ultimately, and what makes a difference that will stick
Mm.
and that you are comfortable with. So, touching on that, I
Mm.
want to know your experience of your first couple of sessions, because when I had my first couple of sessions, I couldn't walk for 2 weeks. I knew I'd go back because I couldn't push the sled my first session. They had to take all the weights off, and I still couldn't even push it. And
Oh,
I
wasn't
managed,
that bad?
yeah, but this is my point. You're very strong, and I think you're a lot stronger than you actually realize. I actually really liked the pull on my first session. Again, no weight, but I was able to move the sled, and that I quite enjoyed.
To tell everybody, itself normally is about 50 kg without any weights on it. So everyone should be mindful about that. So that is still quite a lot to be pushing or pulling.
Yeah.
When I first started, I was very, very sore, because I was like, I don't even know I had muscles there. Where the hell did
Yeah.
these come from? The pain is everywhere. So I do agree it was extremely painful, but it wasn't a horrible pain, like you need Entonox or something like that to calm it down. It wasn't any of that. It was just feeling sore. But that was only because the muscles hadn't been used in that way. Because obviously you're using your muscles every day to work, to walk, just to get through the day. But you're not using it in the high rocks way, if you want to call it that, or the hybrid training way. So that's when it comes to, oh, this is new. And then your body's thinking, what is she doing now? But it soon gets used to it. And then when you say, for example, change the weights or change what you're doing, that's when you might get achy limbs or achy muscles. But really, it's just your muscles being manipulated and moved and adjusting to whatever you're now doing. Now I don't necessarily get sore immediately afterwards. They feel a bit sore and achy, but you can alleviate that with just eating some protein. So after I've trained, I try to eat about 25 to 30 grams of protein as a minimum. And then you can go about your day. And I shouldn't say it doesn't really hurt, because then my trainer's going to say, right, we could do more. I think that's the way the fueling comes in to assist your recovery as well.
Definitely. What made you go back? Because I know that pain sometimes stops people from going back.
Wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to, because I wanted to see exactly what it was. Because going back to Unity, because that's where I basically mainly train, they have different sessions during the week. So there'll be high rocks focus sessions, there'll be strength sessions, there'll be hybrid sessions. And I can't remember the first time I went. I think I was a bit stupid, because I think I went to a 6 o'clock in the morning class. And my sister was like, because I was thinking, do you think I should go at 6 o'clock or should I go at 9:30? She was going, just get it over and done with. Well, that didn't last too long, because 6 o'clock, I'm not good at 6 o'clock. I'm not an athlete. What the hell? So I don't tend to go to 6 o'clocks in the morning, but I still wanted to, because I enjoyed it so much, whatever that session was, I wanted to see and explore what the other sessions were. So that's why I kept going. Plus, they did some introductory package, which I think was like 6 weeks. I can't quite remember, but I still wanted to explore it. And then you had the option of whether you wanted to continue it or you wanted to leave it there and say, this is just not for me. So there's never any pressure on anybody. And you're working to your range and your ability, really, which is what High Rocks tells you anyway. It's what you can do, what your body can do, and you'll be fine with it. So, I mean, I remember during our race that we did and the relay, there were a couple of ladies who I think walked the entire running section. During the racing parts of it, they just walked around the entire 1 kilometer each time, I think. But I don't know what they did on the stations, but they did it at their pace, and for their bodies. So it is for everybody. That's the point I'm making.
And this is the thing, there's no age limit. And this is,
No.
again, you touched on it. We both have come to High Rocks in our midlife. I'm mid-40s, you're mid-50s. And, it's a lot, but we are finding this thing that makes us very happy and is pushing us. And for me, showing me what I'm capable of that I never expected or knew was possible. And that's what's exciting. But yeah, you're right. It's about exploring it and doing what works for you at your level.
So that's why we are Warrior Queens.
Yeah. This is Ayisha's name for our group, Warrior Queens. It's being renamed unofficially. You are the Warrior Queen, though, so I think we can give you that fun.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up, I just wanted to ask you one thing, just a bit more generic about midlife and being a I hate that middle-aged woman. Mid-magic woman. I feel like we need to rename this phrase. It sounds so sedate, and this is not us. But anyway, we'll figure that out.
No, we're not, swinging from chandeliers or anything like that. We're just not sedate.
Yeah, but we're not sitting quietly in a corner either, are we?
That is true. That is true.
So what would you say midlife has given you in terms of perhaps feeling more powerful, or just something that is given you that you didn't expect or you realized recently?
What? And I know this might sound really bad, and I don't mean it to, but as I said right at the top, I've got 3 boys, 3 young men now, I should say. It's only now that I feel that I've got some of my life back, because they're much older.
I'm with you on
And
that.
so they need me still, but they don't need me as much. And when I was just focused on them, and I know some women might be thinking, yeah, but I've got 3 kids, but you've got to try and find some time for yourself, because you don't want to get lost in all of that. And I really think that had my children been younger, it would have been difficult. That would have been a challenge, but I would have probably found some time. Some of the ladies that I train with, I think I'm probably one of the oldest there, and they all have children who are maybe secondary school or younger, and they find time to come to High Rocks. It is a community, it is a family. And I know that sounds really kind of cliche or something, I don't know, but it really, really is. You do enjoy going to the gym. And I know I'm saying, how can you enjoy that? But we have a chat, we have a laugh. We have a laugh at running club. Talks more than running or walking sometimes at pace. So we're still doing exercises, but it is a lovely way to just connect with others and connect within the community and see where you can propel yourself. And I think that's what this has brought me at my time. And this was probably the right time because I've got time to focus and do things during this time at this age.
And that's the magic, isn't it? Having time. So I said that was the last question. I think you might have just answered it, but you tell me, what would you say is the word that represents what movement has given you?
Life.
It's true. I like that. I think I get it, but life, because
it's just giving me more energy, more focus. If I don't do it, I'm like, oh. I went to Cape Town probably about 2-3 weeks ago, just came back. And this is the first time ever. Well, it's not the first time ever. I would take my trainers and say, oh yeah, I'll go and do a bit of training. But this time I was running along the beach. That's not me. Anybody that knows me, where? I mean, if there was, I don't know, a patty or a jerk chicken store, I'll be running. I will be there. Anybody that knows me knows that's not me. But I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So I was like, what's going on, Ayisha?
And you just said 2 5K runs, so you can't say that you don't run. Because I know when we run and we're trying to get you to do over a 1K, you did 5. So I know what you're capable of now.
Yes, that was a lie. Trying to backtrack now quickly.
It's on record now. But yeah, it's made you do things that you wouldn't have imagined.
Yeah, that I would never have really done. I mean, I did go to Cape Town. I think this was at the beginning when we joined, and I did some days at Virgin. But apart from that, no, before I'd be like, I'm on holiday, and that's what I mean. Holiday. I'm not moving from here unless it's eating or eating. So I did a bit more this time around, so I was quite pleased with myself.
I love that life. And thank you, Ayisha.
Thank you.
Movement has given me life. 5 words that capture everything. Because this isn't about losing 22 kilograms. It's about a woman who refused to accept that midlife meant becoming smaller, quieter, less capable. Here's what we're taking away from this episode. It's never too late. Ayisha started at 55 with no fitness background. 16 months later, she's competing in high rocks and racing. Your body is ready whenever you are. Find your movement. She tried everything and nothing stuck until she found high rocks. Keep exploring until you find what makes you fall in love. Fuel, don't restrict. Decades of dieting failed. What worked? Eating enough, real food, carbs included. No guilt, just fuel. You only need 20 minutes to an hour. You've got 24 hours in every day. That small investment could change your life. Community is everything. Find your warrior queens, the people who push you, laugh with you, and celebrate every win. So here's your challenge this week, not someday. Take one action towards your own transformation. Research a gym, book a class, go for a walk, or just decide you're done shrinking. Ayisha went from praying she wouldn't get a race ticket to signing up for 2 more with her son. She went from avoiding movement to seeking it out. She proved that midlife isn't about winding down, it's about discovering what you're truly capable of. So what's your story going to be? Because you're not done. You're just getting started. Now go prove it. Until next time,